Welcome to the presentation on gallstones and the root causes behind them. The incidence of gallstones has been increasing. I've noticed it, and generally it is measured to be increasing. It is also linked statistically to gallbladder cancer. Usually the gallbladder is removed, and the procedures globally, even in poor countries, is an issue because they have to pay for it, and then healthcare costs are high for this item, but it is increasing a lot, and that is the reason I wanted to make this presentation. It's an issue globally. Two of the causes known and popular are obesity and aging. The high carbs and low fiber is considered to be one of the major modifiable risks. Females are having it more in Pakistan, and globally or generally in the West it's 1.5 times. In Pakistan it's 3 times more. Genetics is considered to be one of the reasons. Genetics is generally put in and connected to somehow in every case these days, because that is what is being pushed for the future for Western allopathic medicine. So similarly, even in the West or globally everywhere, it's expensive to have the gallstones removed. So the idea is to figure out what is causing it and fix the root cause, as the projections are it's going to keep on increasing the way it's going, and it is also causing deaths. So gallstones is increasing, and the cholesterol gallstones seem to be increasing. Most of the cases are related to the cholesterol type gallstones. There are also pigment type stones. It is important to note that in 2019, some research was able to identify some chemicals which were able to dissolve the cholesterol type and the pigment type almost completely through injection into animals, but it has not been in the human tests have maybe not been done so far. That was 2019, so it's now 2025, it's just 6 years later. So they might have done human tests. If that is done, then you have chemicals which can dissolve it through an injection into the gallbladder. The common causes are obesity, infection of the liver, other infections. So as we mentioned, it is increasing, and dietary lifestyles are a major factor as far as we know. And then there are other medical conditions which can cause it, or it is connected to it. In Karachi, generally, people have low incomes, so the healthcare for getting their surgeries done is going to be an issue, and the care required before and after surgery is also important. Now we shall discuss the unconventional knowledge, or the stuff that is not so popular in the allopathic areas, but can be used to reduce the problem. Yeah, by the way, the sponsors would not be interested in cures because they are interested in chemicals and surgeries. So they won't really go for figuring out what is any ways to eliminate it. Now, high nutrient intake, very important aspect. So if you have high carbohydrates, especially sugar, you're going to have cholesterol, which is very well known. You're going to have major issues of healthcare. So that's also related to gallstones. Oh yeah, the other thing is reused oil is also being considered as a major issue. But reused oil might also be correlated to bad health due to not worrying about the kinds of things you take in, for example, junk food. So physical inactivity has been known, and that is a very major factor. Substance use is sort of connected to it. Caffeine is also related to gallstones. Other chemicals are related to gallstones a bit too. Stress, as is a major factor for almost every healthcare issue in some way or another. And the mental health is very also related to, highly related to cholesterol. I mean, the amount of gallstones you're having and the issues you're going to have is going to be related to the amount of stress you're having or unnecessary stress you're taking. And also drinking less water, that's also very important. I mean, if you have less water, obviously you're going to have more crystallization of the cholesterol. Similar to kidney stones, and gallstones are also related to kidney stones. So now we'll go to the things that I've learned, which are not so, which might not be common, but a lot of people might have experienced and might know about it. But just in case, in my case, I had gallstones diagnosed in a few months ago, like around March of 2025 actually, March, and now by now it's almost nothing. So what I've learned is, the biggest factor for me is 4 hours before lying down, I should not be eating anything. Anytime you want to lie down, 4 hours before that you have to stop eating. This is my case. It does not have to apply to others. Every human's body reacts differently to different things, but for me this is one of the biggest factors. The second thing is not chewing properly. This is related to a lot of digestive issues for me at my age, which is above 50. And for 99% of the population, not chewing might not be a problem, but it's only for some people like us. Our systems generally, if we don't think about it, we will not chew and we will swallow, and we need to continually remind ourselves to chew properly. That's number 2. But if I eat a lot of food not chewed, the other digestive issues pop in, not just related to gallstones. But gallstones is directly related to eating within 4 hours before lying down. A lot of the people, I think the reason they're having this is because of bad habits. That generally the society is having dinner after 8 o'clock. So what I do, the first thing you need to do if you want to prevent this or reduce it, is to stop eating at 8 o'clock in the evening and then decide to have breakfast after you have had your sleep. Okay, when I went to the doctors, they told me that the gallbladder is like a T junction and it's on the right side. So I also learned that if I don't, and they also said that if the stones move into the intestines, you could go into an emergency and you would have to reduce it and you would have double problems. So to avoid that, what I did is sleep on the right side. So while sleeping, none of the stones would move from the gallbladder. Even if they have become small, they would not accidentally move into the intestine. So try to sleep on the right side while you are having this issue until it is completely eliminated. And the fastest way for minds to reduce is water intake. Hydration is very important. Other foods and drinks related to this, you can find a whole list of foods that will help in gallstones. Other people have tried them, they've benefited from them. I personally have not really tested a lot of them. For me, the major issues are like no eating before sleeping, water intake, and then walking. Like if I don't walk, that'll be the third thing. So all these three things are good enough for me to eliminate gallstones for my case. And also make sure not to take unnecessary stress. Another thing I noticed was, for me, it was chicken and egg. Whenever there was a major issue, I had chicken and egg at that time. But it's not directly chicken and egg that is in my case. It is related to a lot of other factors like not walking and not drinking water enough and lying down before. So it all combines together, and generally it can come at any time if all of these comes together. But so it's not directly connected to chicken and egg. That's not the main factor. It's just that I've noticed that if I'm careless, and even in food, the chicken and egg also comes into the carelessness. But that could come anytime. So it's not a direct connection. It's just that I mention it because it was there. So in my case, it might be connected, and it might be due to carelessness. So it's important to know what I've learned. Gallstones, kidney stones, mental stress, and cancer, they're all connected. Gallstones are connected to kidney stones, mental stress, and gallbladder cancer. The mental stress we have known for years that is related to cancer, and the solution is easily available if you want that. In case you did not know, well, now you know. Cancer is not necessarily related to chemicals. It's related to mental stress mostly, which causes the immune system to go down. And if you can fix that, you can get rid of the cancer. Gallstones is connected to kidney stones. This might be known well in allopathic sermons. The reason I'm saying I'm not sure is because I didn't ask them, and I found out only through the research papers. But you'll actually have to ask an MBBS to ask whether they know there's a connection between gallstones and kidney stones. I think they call it comorbidity or something like that. Mental stress is connected to gallstones. This is new information and it needs to be considered. I don't think it is being considered or is well known. This is important. It is not the only factor, but it's a very huge factor. It is a huge factor in almost every kind of healthcare problem. Methods to reduce stress need to be learned to reduce this issue. Learning how stress affects your health. Yeah, the thing is unnecessary stress. I use the word unnecessary stress because stress is of two types. This lecture on TED Talks by Miss Kelly McGonigal. Can you see this is a YouTube link, and this will tell you. I learned this a few years ago. I wish I had learned it a lot earlier. It is what you think about stress. If you think of stress as preparing you for challenges, then stress is not going to destroy your health. But if you think of stress as something, as a problem, then it will affect your health and reduce your health. Okay, so that was all so far, the summary of what I've learned and I think is important to know about gallstones and should be propagated after checking. Do check the information before you give it to anybody else. And this is my contact information if you want to provide feedback. Thank you. I hope you found this useful. Please do provide feedback, and so that I can improve my presentations and videos and courses.